Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to use ABC-CLIO, which is a history slash social studies database. You could use this for pretty much any research project you do for U.S. history or any type of history for that matter, but today we're going to focus on U.S. history. To get there, you have to go to your internet browser and get to the Daniel Hand site. Once you're at the Daniel Hand site, scroll down to where it says Library Media Center and follow that by going to databases and online directories. And the first database you're going to see on that list is ABC-CLIO, the one I just mentioned, and we're going to click on that link. And it's going to ask you for a username and password. The username and password for ABC-CLIO is Han Madison for the username and Han Madison for the password, all one word. Once I type that in, I hit login, and it'll bring you to the main search page. Now you have a few options here. You could either search from the box here, and that'll search all the databases like it says up top, or I could go to individual databases here on the right hand side and pick one of them and just search within one of those. I'm going to select American History, and that'll bring me to the American History database. So the cool thing about ABC-CLIO is that you could actually find a thesis statement for yourself, and to do that you want to use the Analyze link up top right here. So if I click on that, it brings me to the Analyze section, and the Analyze section is kind of separated by time periods. Each time period has a bunch of topics underneath it, and you can browse through these topics or kind of search for one that you like. And once you find one that you like, you click on it. So if I scroll down, it goes all the way from 1350 to the present. If I scroll up, I could go to the Civil War era, a nation breaks apart, and if I scroll down, I could click on the Great Emancipator. So now I've decided I want to focus my research on Abraham Lincoln, and Analyze, like I said before, gives you a thesis question or statement, and this key question here is, was Abraham Lincoln the Great Emancipator? This whole section is going to discuss whether or not Abraham Lincoln emancipated the slaves on his own or had a little bit of help. He was reluctant to free the slaves. So there are a few parts in the Analyze section here. First thing is Need to Know on the left hand side. When I click on Need to Know, it gives me a little background information. And if I look back to the left, I have background essays, events, individuals, all related to the Great Emancipator, aka Abraham Lincoln. So if I click on Events, African Slave Trade, American Anti-Slavery Convention, Bleeding Kansas, Civil War, so all things leading up to the Emancipation Proclamation. I have a background essay, and not all background essays are going to be related to the topic or directly related. This one in particular is about the slave collars that slaves used to wear, so not really a direct connection to the Emancipation Proclamation, but more loosely connected to slavery. Primary sources are also available. Government documents, speech and narratives. So I click on Government and Court Documents, Kansas-Nebraska Act, Speeches and Narratives, John Calhoun, speech he made on slavery, quotes, facts and figures, and under other you just have some random things you can look at. Fugitive Slave Act, more primary sources, and indenture of servitude for ship passage, probably another primary source. If I go back up under Analyze, I come to the dilemma, which is the real meat of this Analyze section. Alright, you have the opening, which kind of explains what you're about to read. I have Perspective 1, and Perspective 1 is going to talk about how Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves on his own and was really the pivotal person in charge of freeing the slaves. Perspective 2 is going to say how he did it, but with the help of a few other abolitionists. And Perspective 3 is going to talk about how he was a little bit reluctant to free the slave and was forced into it. And at the end with the closing, they kind of wrap everything up. Alright, and that is basically the Analyze section. The next section is the Eras section. Eras is kind of set up the same way as Analyze in that it is organized by time period, and there's different sections you can look at, different links, different topics. And it's up to you to decide what topic you want to do. Again, these are only suggestions. You don't have to do any of these topics, but they will be a big help to you if you are kind of up in the air of what you want to do. So if I scroll up, let's see, abolition, something that goes along with what we looked at before. We have something here on abolition, and I'm sure that's going to discuss Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation. And unlike analyze, this does not give you a thesis question. But what it does do, it gives you discussion questions that you could kind of consider to be a thesis question. So maybe you read the Abraham Lincoln article first and decide you don't want to discuss whether or not he was a great emancipator, and you come to this section and you see the question, do you think that slavery could have ended without the Civil War? So now that's another thesis question you could use for your paper and do research on that topic. So there's articles connected with abolition under individuals, groups and organizations, and ideas and movements. And that's basically the analyze section. If you want to do a simple search, I can search Abraham Lincoln. And I'll get a bunch of results for Abraham Lincoln. On the left-hand side, I could filter my results, because right now I have 568, and get a narrow amount of results. So if I just want primary sources of Abraham Lincoln, click on Culture and Documents. Government and Court Documents, Other, Quotes, Speeches and Narratives. I hit Filter, and I get just primary sources. So if I click on that first one, Lincoln Abraham, annual message, 1861, I get his annual message for the year and spoken by him, and then at the end, if I want to cite this, there is a citation on the bottom under MLA citation. And every ABC-CLIO article is going to have a citation on the bottom, including the ones under Analyze and Errors. So that's basically ABC-CLIO, and a really good resource for your paper, and something that I suggest using.